Welcome to another episode of another. Nope, that's not right. Another episode of Sawdust Talk. It's Wednesday. What's up, everybody? I am Braden with Little Bug Woodworking. I'm in Omaha. We are on take 2 of Snowmageddon. I'm over it. I hate it. It's the worst. I've already had to shovel because I won't fix this snowblower over here. So the best part about my shop, though, is there's no snow in here. And the second best part is we have Malcom from Bossanova Woodworks here. Hey, Malcom.
Huzzah!
Hey, folks.
Before I let everybody else introduce themselves, I want to take a quick second and thank our sponsors. We have Surf Prep and George Supply Co. Surf Prep is the abrasives company to use. Their personalities are not abrasive, but their sandpapers are. So check them out. You can use code Sawdust Talk and save 10% on just about everything on the shop. Jessie, what's up?
Hi, I'm Jessie. I'm building Jessie, and I am a DIYer and home improvement and shop girly. I do a little bit of everything, kind of whatever falls in my lap, I do it. But yeah, TJ.
Hi, I'm TJ with TJT Workshop out of St. Louis, Missouri. Most of the woodworking that I do happens on a lathe, but there's some flat work that happens. There's some metal work that happens. There's some 3D printing that happens. We cause mischief in the workshop. So, yeah.
You do round, flat, and square. Just all of the dimensions.
Indeed.
All right.
Box.
I gotta say, I think this is like our smoothest intro ever. We didn't panic or like have to deal with are we live? Are we not live? When are we going live? Is this even a live show? Like, that was good. We nailed it, guys.
Way to go.
Way to go.
All right, Malcom, all the pressure's on you. Don't mess this up, bud.
No, it's the vibe I bring. I bring the smoothness. So.
I see. And
so
your sassy
smooth.
horns. Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are really hitting the bottom of the barrel here for guests, right? So, but thank you for having me on.
It was either this or it was my next door neighbor, and she's 90 and didn't want to go out in the weather. So
yeah, I don't blame her.
Yeah. Malcom, who the heck are you? Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay, Malcom McCutcheon. I run a little account called Bossanova Woodworks. I live in Yorktown, Virginia, with my wife and daughter. I have a great day job in e-commerce software development. When I'm not doing that, I am just kind of doing the first part of FAFO and trying not to get the last 2 letters there in the shop, building art pieces, record stands, cutting boards, and trolling my friends on Instagram.
That's the best part.
Yeah, I think that's more of like you're less of a woodworker and more of just like a all-around troll in every single direction.
You don't talk about my friend Malcom like that. He knows what he's doing.
Listen, he's also the first guest that I'm aware of that has gotten us your content has been banned and cannot be viewed anywhere on 2 separate platforms.
Awesome. #goals.
Malcom's intro got us, we are not viewable in Russia on Instagram, and we got completely removed from TikTok. So we had to recut his intro.
I would do it.
So
I just watched it on TikTok.
Twice.
Yeah, did you watched the edited version? I uploaded it yesterday, and I didn't even know it was gone until Malcolm's like, "Hey, here's it without music. I saw you got pulled off on TikTok." I'm like, "We're on TikTok?"
Yeah.
Oh, Malcom, you hurt somebody's delicate sensibilities on TikTok?
No, and then when I came just a couple of hours ago, I noticed that second one that was uploaded had the audio stripped out of it. So it's definitely like there's something going on with TikTok banning us. So or me.
I still can't believe that we got banned for a Sony. It was Sony for the copyright on Instagram, but only in Russia markets. Like that, I don't get it. But hey, we've been banned.
Aren't they sleeping right now anyways?
I mean, I uploaded it pretty late, so it was probably awake time for them.
It's propaganda. We can't hear it. So
In Soviet Russia,
they'll crave that freedom too much, baby.
The intro play you.
Awesome.
So, Malcolm, what got you into like trolling? Let's just kick it off with the good stuff. Tell us about Cutting Board Awareness Month.
Okay, which part do you want me to take first? The Cutting Board Awareness Month, or what got me into trolling?
I want the whole.
Only a year old.
I feel like they're gonna weave together. So, dealer's choice.
Well, Cutting Board Awareness Month, as you know, came from Drew Witt's. Drew Witt is the only person that's probably created a community that is designed to troll him. And he has folks like me, Braden, Kamani, and a whole bunch of other folks, the committee, on his Discord that basically just mess with him all the time. And so I've met Drew and hung out with him a bit. And then I got into this Discord, and just a bunch of other like-minded folks started to harass him. And because Drew is the biggest troll, he's way bigger than I am. And so he has had this disdain of cutting boards as an inside joke on that Discord server. Anytime anyone posts anything about cutting boards, he has made comments like "so gross." And then eventually, we were texting each other, and he keeps sending me. He knows that I have a thing about ASMR. I don't really like it. I don't like when people do the slow glue brush pulls or the slow acrylic peels. Drew knows this, and so, like a child, he just sends me, every piece of equipment that he gets. He just slowly peels it, sends me a video of it. And so then I start sending him cutting boards, and like the children that we are, it escalated into a content war. And we call that content war Cutting Board Awareness Month. And I posted, I've never been so motivated in my life to post every single day on Instagram. And some of them, thankfully, had some help from Braden, from Adam Barnett, and others. Matthew, you know who you are, but it went way over the top, and Drew was a good sport about it, but it was relentless. I'm sure many people started to get very tired of the cutting board content, but not as tired as I was by the end of it. So that's how it went.
I'm just glad to see you upright, because I mean, he sent that guy to beat you, and it hospitalized you towards the end there. So
right, yeah, it was pretty rough times. Yeah.
And how were you able to contact the not Sarah McLachlan? It was like Sra MacGlockland.
That's another video that got us banned in Russia
for the audio. That was amazing. She was just like a Central American equivalent, like.
Yeah. So Matthew from Drew's Discord and from God, I'm senile. I can't remember the name of his company, but Third Street Woodworks. He's the one that made the video, but he made it so long, he's not used to Instagram, that I had to take it and like put an intro to it and then split it up into two different things and cheese it up as much as possible. But he put the Sarah Mac in there, which was brilliant. It was just chef's kiss. It was great.
The Sarah Mac. I love that.
Yeah. So, Drew has had he has been a good sport about this. He, again, is the only one I know of that's created a community designed to troll him. But, he's a great guy. We love to, like, the committee is just the unofficial name. I think Matthew's the one that came up with it. And I changed it into basically the committee, the committee, what is it, Braden? The committee that fucks with Drew Witt. That's what we ended up. That's the long, I think the actual long version of that. Sorry, I had to drop my first F-bomb. But yeah, we shortened it to the committee.
To quote, what's that show about the soccer player? The soccer coach. Oh, come on. Why is this blanking on me? Ted Lasso. To quote Ted Lasso.
Ted Lasso.
Yeah, Ted Lasso. Sorry to our listeners for the fruity language.
Hold on one second.
It's going up on a Chiron. Just give it a minute.
I'm proud of you, son. I had to do that for OG Woodworks.
I would like to move away from cutting boards directly and talk to you a little bit about your table saw rig that you have. That thing is pretty choice, bud.
Thanks. I hate it so much, and I can't wait to be rid of it. But I really, I loved figuring out how to build it, and it has served a purpose. But that saw itself is a good starter saw. It's just very aggravating after a while. But the cart concept, I've had a lot of folks reach out to me asking if I could release plans. I don't know how to do that. And even if I did, I'm not sure that there would be a lot of folks that would benefit from that kind of a cart build that I figured out. But I appreciate you saying that it's sweet. I just trying to create it and turn it into a cabinet saw, taking a contractor saw, the Delta 725, I think that's what it's called, into a cabinet saw because I'm cheap. It's a used saw, very old saw.
And for the people who are on audio only or haven't had a chance to follow Bossanova, you've built 2 cabinets and shelves underneath this thing on casters and
built it into a cart,
paint
basically.
job and everything.
Yeah, I turned it into a cart. It was part of a Drew was holding these Maker of the Month challenges, and it was Travis from Shop Nation. So for the best, and I know that he's big on details when it comes to painting things and making colors match and everything. So I did that little extra, as part of the challenge entry. But it was a mobile cart for the Delta saw that's same as the rigid saw, except for it's sold in Lowe's. I think the rigid is sold in Home Depot. It's a contractor saw, and I was used. I think I bought it for $200. And ended up creating turning it upside down, building a cart with legs on it, and turning it back up, and having a router table and all that stuff in one central cart that could have shelves and dust collection all built in. So all you have to do is hook up power, hook up the dust collection to it, to either of the ports, and it would do what you need.
I mean, we can't all have saws that are like these massive cabinet saws. I have the same kind of situation in my shop where it's it's a job site saw, but I turned it into something a little bit more.
Now,
it's not as good as yours, but
saw. I did. I had the DeWalt job site saw, and I created a cart for that as well, following someone else's plans, and it was great. I loved that. But then that saw broke, and I went to go repair it, and it just kind of got over it and decided I was going to try a bigger table saw, but it was still cheap. And I've sort of outgrown this. So I'm sure that when I sell it, someone will get a lot of great use out of it. It's just that I'm tired of adjusting the actual saw. It gets out of alignment pretty easily.
So what kind of space are you actually working in? Can you tell everybody kind of what your shop situation is like?
Yeah, I have a 2-car garage and a stubborn wife that still wants to park in one side of it. And so but it's cheaper to keep her. So I have made use of all the space that I can while she still parks the car there. And then I filled up the other half of it, and I really need to pull it all out and kind of redo it because I'm out of space. I have maybe a foot or 2 around every machine to just kind of weave between things. Everything's on wheels, everything's a cart, and I have to often, if it's bad weather, then I have to stick inside of the garage. But if it's nice outside, then I'll just pull it all into the driveway and do what I need to there. But I'm still fortunate to have what I have. I'm really grateful for it.
So you're running a table saw on a mobile station. I mean, what else do you have going on in there?
A planer, a small jointer, the rigid sander, oscillating sander, drill press. I don't have any robots, no CNC, no laser, no 3D printer. Not that I'm against that. I very much want to get into it at some point, but I don't really have the space. And so, yeah, and then a bunch of other smaller hand tools I have.
You have a reel in your profile that shows somebody who did some liquid resin 3D printing of some cool kids.
Yeah, Patrick Gensel, I
Yeah.
think is what it is. Yeah, Patrick was kind enough to take my maker scan from Maker Camp that that Dave and Otis did for me, and he's printed it out and shipping it to me. So, yeah, really fortunate for that. Thank you, Patrick.
So when did you decide that you hated all robots? Just blanket statement.
I don't hate them.
That-
I just don't want to go buy anything that I don't fully understand how to use. So I'm going to be joining a makerspace here locally first and practicing on some of their machines because I just don't have that kind of time to. I'm not running a business. I'm doing this it's still a hobby for me. I mean, I do sell some things, but I'm not in it for that.
Yeah, if you're trying to market and sell things, what time will you have left for trolling your friends?
Right. So that's my chief export.
Yeah,
Jackass.
that's understandable. I mean, Mama says do what you're good at, right? So
I'm not sure if I'm good at it, but I enjoy it. So
I thought Mama said knock you out.
Well, Mama said crocodile's ornery because he got all them teeth, but he ain't got no toothbrush.
I feel like now would be the time that TJ goes on a rant. I don't
Why
know
are
why.
there
I just feel like it's coming.
Tell us about the time the crocodile hurt you, TJ.
I'm just saying that's why crocodile's ornery, not because of its medulla oblongata.
Do you remember when we went to? Never mind. So, Malcolm. So you talk about the cart, and you built it as part of a maker challenge, and you seem to find like every single maker challenge, and you're like, I'm doing that. I think you have one of your maker challenge entries behind you there.
Yeah, that was for Chris at A Glimpse Inside. He has scrap wood challenge with his leftover laser scraps, basically, to try to make something out of. He shipped a box, and I just made that mosaic out of it. Yeah.
Wait, so the challenge was to make stuff out of his scraps, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
How much did he send you? Like, what all did he send you?
Like a shoebox size of little scraps, and they were all probably about a little bit bigger than this. Just slightly.
Are we looking at wood, or is this like acrylic?
This is plywood. This is a 1/4-inch plywood, mostly 1/4-inch plywood, some 1/8 inch, in epoxy. Yeah, it's and so I just made the mosaic out of it, and it's the first time I had worked with epoxy as well, at least at scale. Anything I try to create like this, so
turned out really good. It's very
thank you.
Very smooth.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's part of a obsessive compulsive problem. I think it took so long to do each little piece, but I was just really, in the zone on it. So
you're, in my mind, you're connected to a lot of different. Find out at Workbench Con last year that it was your first time also, because you were just like strolling through the joint like, I know that guy, taking pictures. Like, I was like,
I didn't know a single person when I went to Workbench Con. I went there alone and with imposter syndrome, and still forced myself to walk up to folks and start introducing myself and be nervy and ask to take selfies and be starstruck and all of the things. And I met you there. That was great. And Patrick and just so many other people. It was the first time I had met Drew there, and just met so many folks that I have now become friends with since that 1 year, almost 1 year ago. Well, I'm not talking about you. I'm just talking about all the other folks. I hope you get more snow.
It's like
dang.
Who are
Yeah.
you? Who are you the most starstruck by when you were at WorkbenchCon?
So I got to say that when I went to Workbench Con, I was starstruck by everyone. But when I went to Maker Camp and I want to go back to Workbench Con this time, I'm no longer like I don't give a shit. Like I just don't care. But I think for me at least, I went through that once, and now it's not a big deal. But probably DeResta. DeResta was so generous with his time. He actually helped me to troll Drew for there was an upcoming contest where the theme was spring, and I asked Jimmy if he knew how to make a wooden spring and if he could teach me, and he just fucking whipped out a notebook and started to he's like, break out your camera and record me, and he just started sketching out exactly how I would do it. And then he ended up giving me his cell phone number, which I think he does that a lot. And he's like, text me pictures or video when you're doing it, or any questions that you have. And so I learned how to make a friggin' wooden spring, which is useless but cool as shit. So that's what I did on the table saw. Yeah.
On a
I don't know
table
if
saw?
wooden's. It was definitely one of those. It was one of those content pieces where you also post it because it's wrong and you're just going to get roasted, but you know everybody's going to be like so hot about it that they can't resist.
I actually have a list of things that I never made videos for that I feel like I owe that, and that's one of them I need to do. I only showed like this much footage of me actually doing it, but I recorded a whole bunch of different tries of me getting it wrong and then sending it to Jimmy and saying, this isn't working, I'm not sure. And he was like, try this. And eventually, after burning through about 3 feet of 2-inch, I think it was 1.5 inch maple dowel, I finally got the damn thing. So yeah,
I'm interested. I want to hear more about this.
Yeah,
it's so useless and so sketchy, but it was really fun. I need to probably redo that so that I can really troll the haters with that content.
Well, it's definitely not useless. I mean, between that, you can make like wooden side steps. There's 3D printed engines. Like, we're gonna have a maker car here, and we're gonna need suspension parts. So
yeah, it's very fragile. I'll put it that way.
How many wooden springs did you like get kickback and just like yeet 20 feet behind you? Because that feels like a kick. Like every part of it should be kicking back.
None, but lots of pieces flying, and lots of smoke smell. No actual smoke, but lots of burning while doing it. But it took me a long time because it was counterintuitive. If the blade is spinning, it spins at you on a table saw, right? I think so. And your natural inclination is to take it at an angle and turn it this way against the blade, but it's actually the opposite, like with the blade almost, and it will corkscrew through. And that feels dangerous as shit when you finally figure out, oh, this is the way I have to do that. And then you're like, oh, this is crazy. But it did work. And it was safe. The way
dangerous.
I did it was safe. It just feels like it shouldn't be, but it really was.
Did you wear your PPE?
Oh, of course, always.
I was gonna say, did you wear eye protection, or are you a fan of the safety squints?
I have glasses. Yeah, but I also do this a lot. Yeah.
I deployed safety squints the other day, and the person next to me while I was doing it pointed out that what I was doing was really dumb. And I think I'm going to have to call my brother-in-law and ask him what we were doing that was so dumb at the time. But boys and girls, wear your eye protection. Don't not wear eye protection. This is proof that we too can't not die in freak gasoline fight accidents. That's all I'm telling you.
TJ,
Orange mocha frappuccinos.
You don't use your safety squints when you're on the lathe? That's
no.
Not all you use?
No, I used to wear a motorcycle helmet when I first started because I know how dumb I am. Like I knew I was going to get maimed, and I have ricocheted large pieces of wood off of that motorcycle helmet in the name of learning. But I think PPE, especially when you're doing really dumb stuff, gives you the courage to get extra awesome. And it gives you that sense of security that, like, well, this might go bad, but if it goes bad, I'm gonna be okay. Right? And so you can get extra rad. And so, like, you don't have to wear ear pro and a helmet and a face shield when you're operating a chainsaw. But like when you do so much cooler shit because you're not like, oh, I'm gonna die, right? Because you're like, oh, I might die. And it's much more casual in that regard.
The part that
You
TJ's
can do a
not
lot of dumb things with protection. You can do a lot of dumb things.
Yeah.
the part that TJ's not telling us is the motorcycle helmet was just one of those like half helmets with the spike that like all the Harley guys wear. No protection at all.
Yeah, there's photos of it somewhere on my phone. I'll have to drag them out, but yeah, no, it's it
Please
in there,
do.
and it's just I've since moved away from the motorcycle helmet, and now I just wear a UVEX face shield. But if I could get one that had the air filtration built into it as well, they're like $700. So if anybody's got connections with cool people that like to give away nearly $1,000 face shields, let me meet them. That'd be great.
The 3M like Papper situation.
Hell yeah, all the live long day.
With the little
I
side
wore that
pack.
stuff after COVID. Yeah, my boss bought us all those, and so we look like little space
Really?
merchants.
Cool. Tell
Yeah.
one of your coworkers I'll give them $100 for it.
It is chock full of the vid at this point. But hey, $100 is $100.
$100 is $100. I just set it out in the sun and take some fancy drugs and we'll be good. That's how
I
that
think
works,
Pete-
right?
I think Pete has one of those, and I think we were on the stoop with him, and he made the comment that because the fanny pack where like all the filtration happened was like on his back, every time he'd fart, it would like into the mask. Like, so risk and reward. Just make sure that you're comfortable with the risks versus the rewards when it
You
comes to
gotta
PPE.
be careful doing that kind of stuff, man. We got time. Okay. I got a buddy named Q, and I may have told this story before, but he was helping me on a shop cleaning day. He turns in the shop with me, and he's my big helper. And he thought he was gonna be slick because he knew that I had just installed a new filter in the shop vac, and he was on the other side of the shop. So he farts into the shop vac hose, thinking he's gonna be cool. I had all the dust collection running and the overhead filters and everything. He was like, there's no way. This man launched a fart across my 25-foot shop at 100 miles an hour, and it struck me in the face. And now the thought of getting struck in the face by a gas might come as a surprise to you, but I just want you guys to know that, yes, you can shoot a fart across the shop at your friends with a shop vac. And that's my rant for today.
It's why PPE is so important.
Yeah.
It
That's why
truly
you need to
is.
wear your respirators and your face masks.
As long as
If
it's not
not-
a Papper and it's not going to suck it back up into your head.
Oh, that
Yeah,
would be
well,
cool.
just
Recirculate it.
there you go.
Wear PPE. If not for you, for the children.
That's right. Everybody loves their own brand. You'll be fine.
So Malcolm,
Oh boy. Yeah.
tell us about your favorite farts. No, so how did you end up at Workbench Con? Like, how did you get there? It was your first year, and
Yeah, the year before that, before I started Bossanova Woodworks account, I had just been doing like posting stuff to Instagram, and then I entered a maker contest for Glimpse Inside, not this one, but one that was 2x4 themed, I think. And I hate 2x4s, but I had to make 3 things, and it was a pretty good contest. And then that kind of got me the taste of like wanting to start getting back into content a little bit, but also because the pandemic made us all weirder, I ended up going from an office to working full-time remote, which a lot of us have been in that kind of a situation, or working alone a lot of the time. And after 3 years of that, I think my wife just said, "Hey, you have to get out of the house. Just get the fuck out. Seriously. I don't care where you go. Like, all your friends that you talk to are on Instagram or whatever. Like, where do they go? Like, and you watch these people on YouTube and I had been talking about this conference, but I'm like, I don't feel like I should go because I'm not a content creator really, and I'm not even a good woodworker and whatever. I mean, excuses. And she was just like, please go. Like, with my blessing, go. And so I was like, okay. And I already go to Atlanta for work quite often, for my day job. And so, it was easy to just slide into the conference, and I had the means and was able to go, fortunately, but I knew no one like in person. I talked to people on Instagram, but Lefty, Kevin from Lefty's Wood Shop, and Scotty from Elevated really looked out for me. Like, I talked to them before I got there, and they just have this way of looking out for first timers. And so I hung with them, thank God. And then I had been part of, just a patron and calling into another Woodshop podcast. And so Pete and Dan, I met Braden and Patrick through that. And it was just easier once you started accumulating a little bit of a crew. But it's rough for people going for the first time that don't know anyone. So I hope that if anyone's considering going this year, if I can be of any assistance, like, please just slide into my DMs, man. I will make sure that you don't eat alone, and that you don't feel like you can't, hang out with other folks and stuff like that. But that's how I ended up at WorkbenchCon, just kind of going and doing the uncomfortable thing of walking into a conference with no one that I knew and just starting to talk to people. It was nerve-wracking.
I feel like WorkbenchCon is like kind of one of those things where every single person has that same feeling that you had walking in there. And we all have a story of somebody that was like, yes, I love you. Let's go do this. You're here. No, let's go eat some food. Let's go do this. But I mean, I had those people for me. But yeah, Kevin, I love him. Yeah, are you going to wear some white shorts next year? This year, I should say.
I got pictures of that sandwich, and I'm not sure I wanted that again.
Oh, come on.
A couple slices of white bread.
Yeah.
Come on.
Those guys are great, though. And Shar, I owe her a lot as well. Very kind to me. We had only ever talked online, and Drew as well. We'd only ever talked online. And so, but he also didn't know anyone. That was the first person that he had known that when he walked into that conference as well. So just really grateful for the folks that I went, that I forced myself to do that. And I got so much out of it, even though I was a freaking tourist, and I'm still a tourist when I go to these things. I just don't care that I'm a tourist. Like, I'm there for, shenanigans. So have a good time.
I feel like you're just lying to all of us, because you're very, very obviously not a tourist. I mean, you make and use social media, so I think you've checked the 2 boxes.
I do, and I have gotten more into content creation this year. I used to create content about a decade ago for a different niche, not related at all to this, but early YouTube and Instagram and all the channels. But I kind of shut that down and started focusing more on career and home life. That was a little side hustle that I had going on with a little marketing SEO agency type thing that I had back then. But I kind of had closed the book on content creation, and then through a conversation again with Drew Witt, he's to blame for this. He's like, you should start. I saw that one thing that you created. You should be creating more of this. And little did he know his creation would come back to fuck with him. So
what I'm hearing here is that there's a Malcom MySpace page out there with like 400,000 followers and a bunch of like
MySpace, yes,
a bunch of
Friendster
cover.
as well, don't even fuck with me on Friendster. You don't know.
Just a bunch of cover like copy videos of early thousands music
Starry
videos.
backgrounds. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So many star transitions.
Malcolm made his fortune selling cutting boards to Second Life people. That's where the big money
Virtual cutting boards. I like it. It's coming this year. Thank you for the idea, TJ.
You're welcome, buddy.
That in somehow.
Yeah.
Cutting board NFTs.
Nothing says Second Life party like your friend dressed as a gorilla and a really classy charcuterie plate setup.
Yes, absolutely. I think that's going to be, maybe even a Fortnite cutting board weapon would be good. We can get that. We can work that in. Yeah.
There's got to be some way to like take advantage of the system and set up some NFTs of just like wood scrap piles, and then we just sell them to some moron. I'm sorry, some
knowledgeable investor in digital beanie babies.
Some investor with an eye for extremely talented artwork in the digital space.
Someone who believes in the concepts of the deepest of value.
Someone who missed out on the Bitcoin thing, and they've just decided the next like thing that they think, what a dumb idea. They're not missing the train this time. They missed Amazon, they missed Apple, they missed Bitcoin. The next one, all in. So we just got to find that person.
Yes, metaverse charcuterie. That's what the world needs.
Also, just a little plug for Cutting Board Awareness Month, which is now a thing. November is Cutting Board Awareness Month, right? But we also then have, what is the next thing we have, Braden? After that, it's Cutting Board Awareness Appreciation Month?
I think so.
Or Appreciation Week. I'm not sure. Something like that. But
so this is the week where you appreciate the month of cutting board awareness?
Yes, that's what it's the first week in December.
Oh, right on.
Right. In case we haven't beaten that horse to death, we want to make sure that we continue to add every year.
Well, and then the entire week of Christmas is Cutting Board Gift Awareness Month, because that's when everybody opens up their gifts that they got. That shocker, cutting boards.
Real appreciation.
Whole week.
A whole week.
Mm-hmm.
The spirit of the season needs more than just one day.
Yes.
This is true.
And then I think 2024 is actually deemed the year of the cutting board.
On the Chinese calendar in some provinces, yes.
Not in Russia, though. Not in the Russian market.
Russia won't accept it. They're like, no.
Too much like
cutting
freedom.
Boards, no appreciation. Nope. Mm-mm.
It's too much like freedom.
So speaking of appreciation, real quick, so we have to do a giveaway for our 100th episode from last week, and I think that now is a great time for us to spin the wheel to see who won. So just a quick recap. We have a sanding LED inspection light from Surf Prep. We have a 3-pack of CA glue and a $25 gift card from George Supply Co. Thank you to both of our sponsors. We have a 4-pack of Bessie clamps from Kamani. And then we have we have a patent pending box Odan scraps coming from me and from my shop, which don't sleep on the scraps.
Is a box of Dan? Am I hearing that right?
It is a box of Dan scraps. So Dan in his business is all optimized for his zero clearance insert plates, which usually leaves some pretty decent strips of hardwood that just don't get cut off, they're just cut-offs. And Dan burns everything, and it hurts my soul because they're all good. And so I basically he collects them and like stores them for me, and then I come and clean out all of his Dan scraps, and then I make cutting boards or whatever the heck I need to make with them.
Cutting boards that he's massacring before they're even born.
Yeah, I mean, you should watch his stories. They're good chunks of solid hardwoods. But anyway, so we're gonna give all this away, plus whatever the heck else nonsense we happen to find around the shop. So we had 41 entries, and I would like to say that I was smart enough to figure out how to share my screen. But I tried it once and it didn't work immediately. So y'all are just gonna have to trust me, and I'll post the wheel spin.
Are you gonna film it on your phone?
Oh, that's a good idea. All
Film
right,
it on your phone, then you can share it later.
Camera. All right, video.
I mean, I believe in you.
I believe
I
in
don't
magic.
really trust it.
All right, so 41 entries and span. I'm making the
What are we
noises
winning?
that.
Is this an inspection light spin?
No, this is the whole kit and caboodle. We're just doing one fell swoop, and our
that's
winner
so
is
awesome.
Mike from Woodworker versus Cancer, which I'm really thrilled about because I don't think that there's anybody that deserves to win as much as Mike does with all that he does for St. Jude's and all that. So, congrats.
I just tagged him in our live.
Congrats, Mike, on winning the whole kit and caboodle.
Awesome.
Yay,
I can't
Mike.
wait to send Mike a care package of things from my shelves.
He's going to get a 7 cubic foot flat rate ship box of sawdust. Just
gonna be
loose sawdust.
Half.
Wait,
of
is that the
full
2x4
roller for
kit?
therapy purses and 2 sheets of Lisa Frank stickers.
Yeah, that's the build your own 2x4 kit.
Build your own 2x4 kit. That needs to be a thing. It really does.
Oh,
I
my
can't
next
believe
craft
it's not.
fair, I'm taking one there and I'm going to sell it. I promise you.
Okay.
Let's talk after. We're gonna laser you some fancy, like some nice boxes, like plywood boxes that you can store them all in, and they'll be great gag gifts.
I'm for it. Oh, you also might be lasering some wooden nickels for a buddy of mine in the not too distant future. So,
What's the conversion rate from wooden nickels to Schrute bucks?
I think it's kind of like Stanley dollars to Doji coins. So,
Dogecoin. I don't want to hear about Dogecoin. That made me sad. Hey guys.
Malcolm
Yeah.
looks like he's
Still on a
on.
podcast? I just wanted to check. Like,
yeah, oh my God, I'm going to send Mike so much crap. Oh, this is going to be so fun.
All right, so Malcolm, first time at Workbench Con. We've got what you did. So what's kind of like your biggest piece of advice? Like, what's your takeaway for everybody that's maybe going to Workbench Con here in 7 weeks for the first time? I can't believe it's only 7 weeks. I'm so excited. I'm about ready to just lose control of everything. My bladder.
Put yourself out there if you go. Have a plan, maximize the time, with the sessions, but also if you just want to like talk to people, go up and talk to them. Most people are cool, and if they're not, how come? Like, just move on. Like, move on to the next person. It's just they're not. There are some folks that are kind of like rock stars the first time you meet them, but they're popular for a reason. They're going to be, the people that you want to meet. And if you get a bad taste in your mouth from one person, remember that there's 100 more that are probably better than that person to go talk to. And many people are very generous with their time. So the other piece of advice I would give you is just talk to other people that maybe aren't famous or, quasi-famous or whatever they are. Like, make your connections there, build those relationships because they're super important. Don't eat alone. Like, that was a hard one for me because dinner became kind of difficult the first couple of nights. Like, logistically, the conference is not providing that. So you have to kind of make plans with folks or just go do your own thing, but try not to go eat alone. Make sure that Drew Witt can fuck off. He can go eat alone. But like, just kidding, Drew. Love you. If you, does it work? Yes, it still works. For those of you on the audio portion of the Sawdust talk, I just did a little emoji with my hands. It's a heart. Just think that you needed to know that for some reason. Help me out, Braden. I'm way off track, and I have the attention span of a gnat, so I don't know what we were talking about.
We were talking about Workbench Con.
Should we not go to the Waffle House in the middle of the night?
You should absolutely go to the fucking Waffle House with Dan Dunlap.
Okay, so I can't remember this, and it has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with my state of mind. Were you on the Waffle House excursion?
No, but I heard all about it the next day.
Okay, I just listen. That Waffle House, I don't know. I don't know if it's a good one or if it's a bad one in terms of like Waffle House level because we never freaking got in, and I'm still deeply hurt by that.
Where
I
did
heard
you
it
end
was
up eating?
closed last year.
It
Like
was
at
closed.
last Workbench Con, they were like, "No, it's closed." We tried to
it
go,
was
it was closed.
It was
Waffle
closed
House
like
doesn't
Wednesday.
close.
It was closed Wednesday to Friday for renovations, and they opened up at 2 p.m. We found that out because we showed up at 2 a.m. just, and I, of course, don't mean this out like we weren't in public, but we were like just rip roaring drunk. Like we were belligerent. Just a herd of thick Midwestern makers wandering around looking for food. We bribed our way into the Steak Shack, like a 200-yard walk further past the Waffle House. We dropped $100 cash on them just to open the doors and let us just be morons. And I think that they thought that we overpaid considering how much entertainment we gave them. So, yeah, just to
Steak and Shake?
Steak and Shake, yeah.
Okay.
So just to tie into Malcolm's advice of like just talk to people and just find your people, none of us are that cool. Like we are all looking for friends. This is one of the most open communities. And listen, if you want to go to Waffle House at 2 a.m, there's at least one group that's going to go, and all you got to do is be like, that sounds neat. Can I come? And they're going to be like, yeah, road beers. And then you'll wander to downtown Atlanta.
I feel like it doesn't really matter like what you want to do or where you want to go. If you see a group of people walking and you just like join them, they'll be like, oh, hey. And then you're just part of that group. And that's just how it goes. Yep. That's been my experience.
Yep.
Yeah,
I think
pretty much. So
I would also say, kids, don't get drunk. Like a little bit, but don't do what Braden did, right? Because then the next day you're ruined and you can't really hang. So you kind of miss out on part of the conference. But then again, I'm an old man, so you don't have to listen to me. But I definitely will have some drinks and hang out. But save yourself, pace yourself a little bit there. It's a lot of money. It's an expensive event.
Definitely do that. Or just know where your tolerance level is for...
What?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Your tolerance level for what?
You done disappeared, bro beans.
Am I back?
You are now.
My headset died because it's wireless because I've been too cheap to buy a wired one, and every time it disconnects, I have to unplug it from the wall. None of it makes sense, but I have to unplug it from the wall so that I can show up back here so I can turn on my audio on the laptop. I'm not an IT guy. I don't know.
You were talking about tolerance for something. And
oh, yeah. No, your
like
tolerance
for
energy drinks.
Silence.
Red Bull.
Okay.
You can fight any amount of alcohol if you get enough caffeine in you. It will hurt later.
Pro tips with Braden.
Yeah. The problem with Red Bull and alcohol mixed together is that there comes a time in the night when you should be asleep.
Yeah, that check comes due.
Yeah. You do have to pay the check, but if you just mainline it for long enough, you can pay the check the next week.
Yeah, that works.
Get some sleep, people.
Yeah, you can have the Workbench Con hangover just like the rest of us have. It's a thing. Whether you drink or not, you're going to have that like week-long hangover after being with everybody and being so excited. That's just how it goes.
Yeah.
So, Malcolm, we could talk about Workbench Con forever. Or at least for 7 more weeks until we have to do it all again. But I want to know more about you. I want to know about the man behind the voice. What have you been working on? The voice of Ada. How did that happen?
Why
Tell
is
us
there profanity on
We
your
were
shirt?
told that you were not. You were told that you were not supposed to sit back with that shirt on.
Sorry, I
You're
just got to stretch.
It is
You're
not
definitely
allowed.
not. You're definitely not getting your sign-on
I
bonus.
wore this shirt that, for those of you listening to the audio podcast, it says another Woodshop podcast, and you
No,
can
it
actually
doesn't.
bleep that out if you need to, Braden.
I don't have
but
a. I
wore
don't have
it
a beep like Pete does.
Yeah, I wore
Beep.
it to mess with Braden, but also, to represent. I was a patron for a long time and hung out with the guys at Workbench Con, got to know them, and then they had a third host that left, and they needed to re-record their intro, so they had a contest. I love a contest for some reason. Always love a contest, and I, submitted a blooper reel, basically, of a whole bunch of me messing, sort of like I did for the intro to Sawdust Talk this week. Just kept messing up the intro, and they liked it a lot. And so eventually I recorded the real one and sent it to them, and they've been using it ever since as the intro voiceover. Also some outros for them as well. But don't have any experience doing podcasting or voiceover work, but it's just it was fun. It's been fun. I think it's fun to talk in a smooth voice and say fucked up things. That's just kind of what I like to do. So
I think your voice is great, and you definitely have a face for radio.
Thank you.
You're
do.
welcome. I'm kidding.
No.
No, this has been fun.
Too much handsome for TV.
It's nice to put a face to the voice.
Thanks. Same. No, wait. I've been following you for a bit, so I already knew your face. But yeah, that joke doesn't translate. So that's how we ended up in AWP land and my AW penis showing. And, I just have tremendous AWP spirit.
I have to ask, did they make you sign a non-compete, or are you open to competing offers? Or
Aiden's got a couple of promo tracks that I sent him via text message a month or two ago. I think we could really work one or two of them into the show.
I haven't heard back from Pete yet on if I have permission to do that. Dan laughed it off, but Pete might actually, might put the Polish smackdown on me. So who knows?
Pete did immediately respond out of the blue to me with, "You will be hearing from our lawyers." I don't know if they have a lawyer, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Their lawyer might have a voice.
That's true. And then the whole problem goes away.
Yeah.
Malcom,
you guys are going to get me fired from my volunteer gig that I get paid nothing for.
Either that, or we could offer you something, and then it can become like a tug of war. We can have like a Malcolm tug of war.
I wonder what the jointery would offer.
Oh, snap.
I don't know.
He just went
envelopes
there.
with Lisa Frank stickers. Just saying.
Listen, Dan and Pete, if you're listening or watching, just know he said that with the confidence of somebody who's thought about it before. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah.
I feel like it's going to end up working out like in Seinfeld for you, where George Costanza was working for the Yankees and the Mets wanted to make an offer, and then he ended up with nothing.
Pretty much. It's kind of what I have now. But the guys have been pretty good to me, so but I don't think they would give a damn. We'll see. Love to help you guys out however I can.
He said it here first.
Nobody tell Dan and Pete.
Yeah.
Not till the ink's dry.
They don't listen to this anyway.
Braden, do your thing. Oh, that was rude. That was bad timing.
I don't want the fireworks anymore. I want...
All right, Malcolm. Well, the time is now 9:58 p.m.
Great.
And that means that you get to be blindsided by one final question from me that we should have gone over when we were in the green room before the show. But,
okay,
we were distracted.
We never really do.
Yeah, we're almost organized. This close. No, at the end of the show, normally I like to ask our guests to provide a motivational thought or idea or quote or a reason to kick open the door to your shop, or to go make a mess, or to go get awesome, or to go troll your friends on a Discord server that exists for the sole purpose of friend trolling.
Yeah.
What
I don't
what
know
would you
that I
like to
have a
share with
lot
the
to
other kids
offer.
in the classroom to help them get enthused to pursue their passion?
Got it. I am fortunate. So any advice I give is just going to be because I'm lucky enough to be able to have this as a hobby and not have to rely on it for a living. But I think I would be miserable if I had to go turn this into a thing that I did for a living, or at least the craft part of it, like working in the shop with my hands. It keeps me sane. It has kept me sane for years. And if I couldn't get out there and have an outlet to do stuff, and it was, or I had to do things on it, which I've had to do on a deadline, and it took the joy out of it, that would be the worst thing in the world for me. That's just for me. So I don't know if anybody else is in that position, but it's an awful feeling if you have to just go do a thing. We already have to go do a thing called a job, whether it's your job like in your shop or whatever, but don't give up that one thing that makes you sane when you're doing things. Even if you just have to carve out a little bit of time and get back. If you created a woodworking business and you rely on that for your paycheck, but you used to get a lot of joy out of it, carve out a little bit of time to go back to find out to do something just for you that you don't even have to friggin' film or do anything else or record. Just find that thing and don't let it go. That would be my advice.
That's wonderful.
I like it.
All right. Well, Malcolm, thanks for spending an hour with us. It was a lot of fun getting you out there. Before
Thank
we
you for
wrap,
having me. This has been great. I've been watching you guys for a long time. I'm a big fan of all of you, so I appreciate it, except for Braden, but I appreciate everyone so much for having me. Yeah, fireworks.
long-time listener, first-time caller.
Yeah.
Well, before we wrap up, again, we want to thank our sponsors, Surf Prep and George Supply Co. We could probably do this without them, but it'd be a lot less fun. So special thanks to them. So Malcolm, where can everybody find you? What platforms? Where you at? Bossanova Woodworks.
Bossanova Woodworks on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. It's all the same. All one word, Bossanova Woodworks.
All right. So go give him a follow and maybe troll him a little bit. He probably has it coming.
Yes. I welcome it.
So, all right.
Thanks, Malcolm.
Thanks, Malcolm. We'll
Thanks,
see you
guys.
guys later. All right, everybody. We'll see you next week. We've got Chris from A Glimpse Inside next week. So where Malcolm got his start with the maker projects, we're going to see why this all happened to us. We're going to see where it all began. So we'll see you guys next week. Same bad time, same bad channel. Bye.